quick little history lesson, man, just to let y'all know, man. It's like, why try to get rid of somebody that helped out? And then you came over there to get us. That's what's so crazy. We was what we was, chilling. You know what I'm saying? But man, I love to, like, go back in time or whatever, man, and to give my ancestors and all my folks back in the days, man, they proper little, they proper time, and still to continue to get them flowers, man. Hey, what's poppin', y'all, man? It's the coolest dude on YouTube, man. And check this out, man. We coming with a little history lesson right quick, man. You know what I'm saying? We always got to keep y'all informed for those that just don't know. You know what I'm saying? But for 144 years, Black Americans were banned from joining the Marines. But when the United States needed support, 20,000 Black recruits stepped up. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up, stepped up to the plate. You know what I'm saying? Young man, too. Look at that. Now, in 1941, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt reluctantly banned racial discrimination in the United States Marine Corps. Montford Point became the first training facility for Black Marines. Nearly 20,000 Black Marines successfully completed training and supported the war efforts in the 1940s. In 1941, the United States Army needed to drastically bolster their recruits for the pending outbreaks of World War II. At the time, hiring discrimination was a common practice against Black Americans in the defense industry. Both then President Franklin Delano Roosevelt and Commandant of the Marine Corps Thomas Holcomb were resistant to diversifying the Marine Corps in 1941. They didn't want to put them together, bridge the gap. You know what I'm saying? Holcomb told the Navy General Board that if I were questioned of having Marine Corps of 5,000 whites or 250,000 Negroes, I would rather have the whites. See, now that's just ignorant and racism. You know what I mean? 250,000 recruits that passed. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Look at that. Saluting. Group of Black Marines at the Montford Point Office of War Information National Archives. Feel me? Y'all can look it up. Now, up to the point, Black Americans were allowed to serve in the United States Army and Navy, but only within segregated ranks or factions. The Marine Corps, however, had always prohibited Black Americans from joining. While around 13 Black Marines served in the American Revolutionary War, by 1798, a discriminatory policy prohibited Black Americans from joining the Marines. What kind of sense did that make? That's crazy. Anybody that'll help our country, you know what I'm saying? That's ignorant. Now, pressures from the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, one of the largest and first Black labor unions, pushed Roosevelt towards changing that policy. Shortly before the Brotherhood scheduled protests in Washington, Roosevelt took executive action to integrate the defense forces. Look at that. Was up there handling it, man. Recruits in the turret of a tank during training. Come on, man. Montford Point. Under Executive Order 8802, as of June 25th, 1941. Now, my mama wasn't even born. Hiring discrimination was prohibited in the defense industry. It was the first executive action pertaining to civil rights since the Reconstruction era of the 19th century. Officials appointed Montford Point, North Carolina, as the first training facility for Black Marines. Now, when we first were sworn in, we were all together in the same group, said Curtis Moore, a Marine officer who arrived at Montford Point in 1946. Now, my mama still wasn't born. I learned that the white Marines were on the way to training camp in South Carolina, whereas the Black Marines were on their way to training camps in North Carolina. Wow. Okay. The first Black Marines arrived at Montford Point by 1942, while white Marines still reported to training in San Diego or Parris Island. See, 1942, my pops was born. South Carolina, the Montford facility was still run by white sergeants, instructors, and officers. The Black Marines could not access surroundings, non-interrogated facilities without a white Marine sponsor. Wow. Now look at us. Look at us. Marines assembling an aircraft engine at Montford Point in October 1944. Now you say, my basic training, my travel far and near overseas for 2.5 years was with a completely black military outfit, said Moore. Still, the instructors, sergeants, and officers were all white that had us in their charge. Some white members of leaderships in the armed forces took special measures to try to limit black Marines once they were allowed into the branch. Still embittered by the eventual overturn of hiring discrimination, Thomas Holcomb issued Letter of Instructions 421, which prohibited colored non-commissioned officers senior to white men in the same unit, and desirable that few, if any, be of the same rank. According to Moore, without institutional support, black Marines built communities outside of the military base in surrounding towns. Black recruits normally went to cities in North Carolina near the training camp where there was a sizable black population. Moore told insiders they had a barbershop, restaurants, hotels that would support us when we left the Montfort facilities. Now that's the United States Marines in training at Montfort Point near Camp Lejeune, Jacksonville, North Carolina, 1945. You know what I'm saying? Archive photos right there. See, that's on Camp Lejeune right there. You feel me? A very high sense of pride. Over the course of 7 years, nearly 20,000 black Marines completed their training at Montfort Point and became known as the Montfort Point Marine. Their sacrifices included deployment overseas in Guam, Okinawa, and Iwo Jima. It wasn't until 1948 that President Henry Truman issued Executive Order 9981 that effectively banned segregation in the armed forces. 1 year later, Montfort Point facilities were decommissioned, but the enduring efforts of black Marines past and present are preserved in history through the National Montfort Point Marine Association. Now, if you knew any Marines that live down the block or any Marines that are in your family, they have a high sense of pride that they were in the Marine Corps, Moore told insiders. They have a very high sense of pride that I don't think anybody could take it from them. Curtis Moore passed away shortly after that interview, June 18, 2023, this year, at the age of 97, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I just wanted to just like give a little quick little history lesson, man, just to let y'all know, man. It's like, why try to get rid of somebody that helped out? And then you came over there to get us. That's what's so crazy. We was what we was, chilling. You know what I'm saying? But, man, I love to, like, go back in time or whatever, man, and to give my ancestors and all my folks back in the days, man, they proper little, they proper time, and still to continue to get them flowers, man. And I'll never forget none of my ancestors and nobody else's ancestors that ever lived on this earth to put in work for us to live on this turf. You know what I'm saying? It's the coolest dude on YouTube, man, bringing you some news, man, and we coming back with another reaction after this, baby. Hit! Hit Squad. And Reckless. You know what I'm saying? MC Doc, baby. We came to do this. You heard?